Welcome back to IT Master. Today, we're not just building a project, we're building an experience. Have you ever visited a premium website and wondered how the page feels alive? The moment you scroll, lines begin drawing themselves, text glides into view, and every movement feels cinematic, almost like watching a movie instead of browsing a web page. That's exactly what we're creating today. In this tutorial, we'll build an Apple-style scroll storytelling animation using SVG, GSAP, and ScrollTrigger. We'll take a simple SVG path and transform it into a premium interactive experience that reacts beautifully to the user's scroll. And here's the important part, this is not just about animation. This is the kind of front-end effect that separates beginner websites from premium, high-paying client work. So if you want your projects to look modern, cinematic, and professionally engineered, this technique absolutely belongs in your toolkit. Let's dive in. Step 1, the blueprint, HTML. Alright class, settle in. Before we animate anything, we need to build the structure, the foundation of our experience. Think of HTML as the skeleton of the project. Every cinematic animation starts with a clean layout. In this build, we only need two major sections. First, we have the hero section. This is the opening scene of our story, the part users see immediately when the page loads. Inside it, we place a large heading using an H1 tag. Its job is simple: grab attention instantly before the user begins scrolling. Next comes the SVG section. This is where the real magic happens. Inside this section, we place an SVG path. SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, which means our graphics stay perfectly sharp on every screen size, from mobile devices all the way to 5K displays. Now look closely at the path data. M10200Q 500 0990 200M/10 200/Q/500 0/990 200M 10200Q 500 0900 90200. That Q command represents a quadratic Bézier curve. In simple words, it creates a smooth curved line between points. Instead of sharp corners, we get that elegant flowing arc you often see in Apple product pages and luxury web experiences. This curve becomes our animated storytelling path. The content layer. Inside the same section, we also create a text container. This container holds multiple headings with the class.fadeText. Why multiple headings? Because we want the website to feel like a story unfolding as the user scrolls. At first, these text elements remain hidden. Later, with GSAP, we'll reveal them one by one to create pacing, emotion, and focus. This is a huge difference between ordinary websites and cinematic websites. Premium sites guide the viewer's attention scene by scene. The brain of the project, GSAP and ScrollTrigger. Now scroll to the bottom of the HTML file. You'll notice two external script links. The first one is SAP. GSAP is considered the industry standard for web animation because it delivers extremely smooth performance and advanced control. The second one is ScrollTrigger. This plugin allows us to connect animations directly to the scrollbar position. That means the animation doesn't just play. It reacts to the user's movement. Scroll down, animation moves forward. Scroll up, animation reverses smoothly. That interaction is what creates the premium cinematic feeling. Teacher's note: the secret behind the SVG drawing effect. Here's the illusion most developers don't understand at first. The SVG line is not actually being drawn. We fake the effect using something called stroke-offset. We make the line invisible by pushing the dash away from view. Then, as the user scrolls, we animate the dash offset back to 0. The result? The line appears to draw itself in real time. It's one of the cleanest animation tricks in modern front-end development. Pro tip: make sure your .svg section has a large height in CSS. Something like height equals 400 veit / equals / 400 veit equals 400 vh. Why? Because animations need scroll space to breathe. If the page is too short, the animation finishes instantly and the cinematic effect disappears. Now let's move into the CSS section, where the real cinematic layout begins. First, we use the universal selector star to remove all default margin and padding from the browser. We also set box sizing to border box, which makes sizing elements much easier and more professional in responsive design. Next, inside the body, we create a premium dark theme using a pure black background and white text. We also apply the SF Pro display font to give the website that clean Apple-style appearance. And Overflow X Hidden prevents unwanted horizontal scrolling during animations. Now let's build the hero section. We set the height to 100 viewport height so it fills the entire screen. Then we use Flexbox to perfectly center the content both vertically and horizontally. Text Align Center keeps everything visually balanced. Inside the hero section, the heading uses clamp for responsive typography. This is a modern technique that automatically scales text based on screen size. The result is smooth typography across desktop, tablet, and mobile devices. Next comes the SVG storytelling section. We give the SVG section a huge height of 400 viewport height. This creates a long scrolling experience, allowing our animation to unfold step by step as the user scrolls down the page. Position relative helps us control elements inside this section more precisely. Then we align everything vertically using flex direction column and center all content horizontally. Now here comes the magic part, the SVG line. We make the SVG sticky using position sticky. This means the line stays visible on screen while the user scrolls through the storytelling content. Top 25% places the SVG slightly below the top of the screen for a more cinematic composition. We also set a responsive width with a max width of 1000 pixels, ensuring the SVG looks clean on large displays without becoming too stretched. The z-index value keeps the SVG above other elements during the animation. Now for the text container. Margin top 100 viewport height pushes the text content lower so the animation has breathing space before the storytelling begins. Then we stack all text elements vertically using flex direction column and center them horizontally. Finally, each fade text block starts invisible with opacity 0 and slightly moved downward using Translate Y. This setup is extremely important because later GSAP will animate these elements into view, creating smooth cinematic fade-up transitions while the SVG line draws itself on scroll. And this combination of sticky SVG plus animated storytelling text is exactly what gives premium websites that immersive Apple-level feeling. Step 3, the Cinematic Engine, JavaScript plus GSAP. Now we've reached the most exciting part of the project, the JavaScript animation logic powered by GSAP and ScrollTrigger. First, we register the ScrollTrigger plugin. This tells GSAP that we want to control animations based on the user's scroll position. Without this step, scroll-based animations would not work. Next, we select the SVG path using Query Selector. This gives us direct access to the line we want to animate. Then we calculate the total length of that SVG path using getTotalLength. This is a very important technique in SVG animation because it allows us to control exactly how the line is drawn on screen. Now comes the illusion magic. Using sap.set, we apply two SVG stroke properties: stroke-hare and stroke-offset. Both are set equal to the full path length. What this basically does is hide the entire line initially. Think of it like covering the SVG path with an invisible mask. Next, we animate the path using GSAP.to. We move the stroke dash offset value from the full length down to 0. As that happens, the hidden line gradually becomes visible, creating the effect of the SVG drawing itself in real time. We also set ease to none because we want the drawing speed to remain perfectly smooth and directly connected to scrolling. Now let's connect this animation to the scroll position. Inside ScrollTrigger, the trigger is set to the SVG section. That means the animation starts when the SVG section enters the viewport. Start top means the animation begins when the top of the section touches the top of the screen. End bottom means the animation finishes when the bottom of the section reaches the bottom of the viewport. And scrub 0.5 is what creates that cinematic scroll sync effect. Instead of playing automatically, the animation follows the user's scroll movement smoothly, making the experience feel interactive and premium. Now let's animate the text sections. We select all fade text elements using Query Selector All. Then we loop through each text block using ForEach. Inside the loop, GSAP animates every text element individually. Opacity changes from invisible to fully visible. And the Y position moves upward to 0, creating a smooth fade-up motion. Again, ScrollTrigger controls when each text appears. Start top 80% means the animation begins when the text reaches 80% of the viewport height. End top 50% continues the animation as the user scrolls further. And scrub true connects the fade animation directly to the scroll movement for ultra-smooth transitions. So overall, this JavaScript creates two synchronized cinematic effects. The SVG line draws itself while the text smoothly fades into view as the user scrolls. And this is the exact technique used in many modern storytelling websites and premium product landing pages. What we built today is more than just an animation. We combined SVG graphic scroll-based interaction, sticky positioning, motion design, cinematic pacing, professional storytelling techniques. This is the exact type of front-end work used in premium product websites, creative portfolios, SaaS landing pages, and modern brand experiences. Mastering techniques like this instantly levels up your developer portfolio. And once you understand the logic behind it, you can build endless variations of your own. Thanks for watching IT Master. If you enjoyed this tutorial and want more advanced front-end animations, GSAP effects, SVG tricks, and Apple-style UI experiences, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Edit Masteral for more premium web development